Hello everybody. My name is Anders Paulsson and I'm a musician, but I'm also passionate about saving coral reefs. I'm here to speak about a new initiative called the Choral Guardians. And the idea is to support education of young people in biodiversity conservation and sustainable development. And the idea is that we link educational centers around the world with events, with both music and science. So there will be emotional impact and there will be scientific, like both sides of the brain. We're thinking that that is a more effective way to share our knowledge. So, anybody here have ever snorkeled on a coral reef? Okay. Great. Sometimes they look like this. This is a dead coral reef. And it's a pretty sad look. And I actually felt this depressed myself in 1993. I had friends who were dying and I was in a very bad love affair. So I figured I have to do something different. So I went to Hawaii. And just getting there didn't fix it, but I went underwater, and the first thing I saw was this. This is a yellow trumpet fish. I thought it was pretty comical, you know, very stiff body, little fins, this long nose, and yellow. So, and it sort of looks like a soprano saxophone, so I found a link with this creature. So I continued snorkeling and looking around for more places. And I came to Belize in Central America, and there I met people from Coral Key Conservation. And they work to protect the reef, and they train people, anybody, like you and me, can become a volunteer diver. So we'll help them count species. How many parrotfish, sharks, elkhorn coral, brain coral, sea slugs, nudibranchs. It's a lot of it. And this brought me to the Philippines. And this is Dunhugan Island. And they have a learning center that teaches young people about how we can live in harmony with our life-supporting ecosystems. Not just the coral, because it's the rainforest too. So, you know, counting species was great, but I want to take photographs too. So I got myself a camera. This is actually a worm, a flat worm, but to me it looks like Aladdin's carpet a little bit. And this is a boxfish, and you would say it's feeding, but I can see it's also playing. And since I'm a musician, I want to play. So I wrote some music for this Dunhugan Sanctuary is the name of the island in the Philippines, and I played it with Philippine musicians, and I felt a bond. It's like suddenly the world was very small when I can meet somebody on the other side and we can make music together. So I'm going to be showing you some of my own photos, and with some help from Matthias Klum, National Geographic photographer, you will see pictures of a living coral reef while I play. Thank you. Now, this part of the world, the Philippines, is a biodiversity hotspot, meaning like in the center here where it's really red is where we have 70 generations of species. So even if there is a dead reef in the area, if there is a mother reef that's still healthy, it can recolonize the dead reef by sending larvae through the ocean currents. So anyway, in this area, a lot of places look like this, dead. And as I was turning 50 years old this year, I was not really comfortable with it, and I felt that this could be a crisis personally, but I said, no, let's focus on the positive, music and coral reef conservation. So I said, I want to do a benefit concert for coral reefs. And my producer said, Matthias Wallin, well, anybody can do benefit concert. I want to do something more. I want to have a project that grows by itself. So, and he said, let's call it Choral Guardians. And then with the scientific input from Per Olsson and Fredrik Moberg from the Stockholm Resilience Center, we have updated research on how to best manage coral reefs. So, this is from the first concert. We have a children's choir, Philippine choir, a rock band, a jazz band, strings, soloists. It was a lot of diversity in terms of music. And this diversity sort of reflects on the great diversity in nature. Like, coral reefs are really the rainforests of the sea, and it's a world heritage that belongs to all of us. And yet, many children in the Philippines don't realize that this is their backyard. This is where they live. So, teaching them is very important. Now you can look at the forest. This is the original forest cover of the Philippines, and then 70% you see is disappearing. Today it's less than 3% of original forest left. And what happens when you have tropical rains is that the siltation suffocates the reef, it smothers it, so it's killed. But there are other threats too. For aquarium, some people use cyanide fishing that anesthetizes the animal, and they sell it, and then it dies on delivery anyway. So it's a bad idea. Blasting caps, dynamite fishing to get one last supper is a really destructive way. Hundreds of years of coral growth can die this way. So it's last supper, and it's really ignorance that kills. The more we can educate people, and children in particular, the better it's going to get. And that's what the Den Hoogen Learning Center is about. And this is the first place we're going to in a couple of weeks to meet with their organization and study them and play a concert and have scientific discussions at the same time. Now, there's so much we can learn from coral reefs. They recycle everything, not like us. And they manage to thrive in a nutrient-poor environment. And also, we might find many medicines and for future needs, and there's a shoreline protection that when there are tsunamis, a healthy coral reef can protect the shoreline. There's food for hundreds of millions of people. There's tourism, of course, and if it looks like this, tourism is good business. If it looks like this, it's bad business. So it really comes down to one choice. Which do you like? Which do you prefer? If this is what you prefer, then you are, in your heart, a coral guardian. Korallrevsväktare, as I would say in Swedish. So I'm going to end this little presentation by playing the song that I wrote. It's called Choral Guardians. And also say that the coral reefs are very sensitive. So they're an indicator of the general health of the planet. So there.